Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Miami. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you Challenge North America, City Bikes, Vinito, Challenge Athletes Foundation, Florida Dairy Farmers, and Wahoo, our next guest, only one of my favorite people on the planet who is kind enough to join us, Meredith Kessler.
Bob,
how the heck you doing?
You're one of my favorite people. So we're
How
all
kumbaya
good.
is that?
Kumbaya, very chi. We're good to go. Namaste. I love it.
Normally we don't have this salad bar screen
and it's
between
all
us.
hugs and it's all
that. But
yes.
So this race, and I know you
Yes.
haven't had a chance to ride the bike course yet.
Sure.
But you're the first person to bring it up.
Yeah.
The swim is in the middle of the
Yes.
afternoon, and
Right.
it's gonna be choppier than crap.
Right. I just walked out and I was fortunate enough to talk to the gentleman who created the swim. He was like putting all the buoys out and the cones. And it's going to be, and I asked him because I'm doing the Pro-Am relay Saturday at 7:30 a.m. and on Saturday, right? And on Friday we race at 1 p.m. Well, right now I was out at 2 p.m. scoping it out, and he literally was like, oh yeah, it'll be like this tomorrow. But then when you do the Pro-Am, it'll be smooth as glass and no wind. But when I just went out there, it is choppy, but then you'll fly the one direction because you'll be with the current, but you'll be against the current, and you do 2 laps. So it'll be very, very interesting. Now, I have the worst stroke on the planet, so the choppier the better for me because I can kind of get in there, but at the same time, it'll be hard for everybody. It's not it's not going to be an easy swim.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when the swim is like that, some people who are a little more comfortable in open water,
Right.
who aren't just pool swimmers,
Right.
have a little advantage.
Right. I'm not a pool swimmer, but I am a wetsuit swimmer. It's not a wetsuit swim. So, and that's okay. At least, like I said, I have a crappy stroke, so that will help in that dynamic. But no, it will be hard. It's 75 degrees in there, so non-wetsuit for sure, choppy, and then windy too. So like the current's going to be going, and then you're going to have wind to fight against too. I know that sounds silly in the swim, but it's a factor.
It is a factor.
Like, let's talk about the 17 loops around the windy speedway we have after that. Even the run will be windy.
Everything will be windy, but the main thing with the bike is compared to Challenge Daytona, which was all about putting your head down and doing power.
Right.
This, you've got a technical backside of this on the road course with with wind, with curves, with turns. That it'll be a little bit of bike handlers. Course.
Right, and would you think I would be a bike handler? The answer to that would be no, Bob.
Come on.
I am a long distance, triathlete. Just give me 2 big loops and I'm happy. Technical, people would never think of me as a technical rider. Right. I live in Ohio. I do ride a lot, especially in the winter, indoors. And I heard Andrew Starkowitz, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna outride all these Zwift, and he used a profane word. But he's right. I'm a promiscuous, Zwifter, or rather indoor, cycling rider, and I'm proud of that in the morning, in the moment, because I get a lot of
you get quality
workouts in
safely,
and it's safe and all that. I understand too, of course, where Starkey's coming from, and my weaknesses in that will show on this course. But I feel like the power that we've gained over the last several months, and this, Bob, is I wasn't able to do Daytona because I got COVID, which is still, you feel shameful even saying it. But my family, it's seeped into our small bubble. We did everything right.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we left our house. I left the house to go train. People ask me, how do you think you got it? It's like, there wasn't a specific moment. I could have got it at the grocery store. I could have touched something at the pool. There was a lot of ways. So there's no shame. And the community I come from, luckily, because a bunch of us, of my good, close little bubble, as we all call it, we all got it at the same time, and no one blamed one another. It was like, well, we call each other the COVID crew. It was terrible. The moms were all sick.
Was it terrible?
It was for the moms. The dads, we laughed. The dads felt zero. Their life went on. They were still drinking their IPAs, and like Mac wasn't sick either, and he had it. So, but I was like a goth vampire. I was so ill, and I remember because I was in the middle of this Z Pro Racing series, the one in November, because we just had one in February. I did one in November, and I was like in 3rd overall, and I wanted to keep that. And my 4th race of that, the final race, I just remember I was so ill.
You still tried the race?
I did race because I was like, if I could even just maintain, I did. And that race was better than the last series because it was only 3 short bike races. So it was just get through this 15 minutes as hard as you can. But then it got, obviously I was 10 days like a vampire. And then I watched Daytona. I remember I was running a 11-minute mile pace just, because it wasn't enough time to get back. I got it probably November 20th to 30th, goth vampire. fire. And then that wasn't enough time to pull a negative test, even though I had served my, quarantine.
Did your time, yeah.
I did my time. You feel like a prisoner. You're like, we all did our time. We did our quarantine, all of us. But you know what? I feel like I've tried to harness and like really capture the fitness I had for Daytona and trickle it over the last 3 months for this race. And that's all I can ask for. I'm just grateful that it didn't hit my family hard, and I can deal with what happened to me. It was a rough road back. Was it? Yes. Like I was like, oh my gosh, my heart rate, just the rise back was slow, but once I got back, I slowly got back. So, and good to go. And that was now over 3 months ago.
Sense of smell, sense of taste?
I didn't. My husband was like, I think I lost smell for like an hour. And I'm like, oh, poor you.
Us guys
Poor
are such
you.
wussies.
You man, baby. No, he was not. He was so undramatic. And I was not glad by any means that they had it, but because I think it's harder if like one person in the household has it and the others don't, because then you're just like, you already feel lonely and weird and wearing a mask around your tribe. So I wasn't, of course, glad that they have it, but I will say it was easier that they had it, even though they had no symptoms. And my team of people who helped us get through that, one of my athletes is a doctor on the front line, and she really helped us get through. Like, you can be together, you can hug each other, you all have it. You're going to serve your X amount of days, and then everything's going to be fine. And now you have those good antibodies. And it was almost, and please forgive me, anyone who's judging this conversation about COVID, but it was almost a relief to get it, because you were so worried about getting it, and I was so worried about infecting my parents or my husband's parents, who are 70 and 80 years old, and that was like a real situation.
Sure.
And luckily, I hadn't seen them for a week when this all went down, so I ended up not seeing them almost a month. I was like, still don't want to see you, and even
Stay
though,
away. Yeah.
and when you get out of your quarantine, you feel like weird. You feel like this is wrong. Something feels wrong, but it's right. And we were the right people that did our time. And that's probably we're lucky to both have jobs where we can work remotely, and that doesn't happen for everyone. And understandably, people walk around without any symptoms and they just don't know. So it's a hard situation, but I'm glad the vaccine's out. My parents are both vaccinated. My husband's parents are. So things are getting better. You are too?
I got my
Perfect.
Band-Aid right there.
Yes, perfect. So everything will come together. But it was a weird time, and I don't wish it on anyone. But at the same time, I feel like I got the easy part of the stick, because, as you know, there's a lot of people suffering a lot more than me. So I can take 10 to 20 days not feeling like myself.
How long did it take you to feel like you could actually train again and feel normal?
Well, like November 20th, 11:30, I was like out of commission. Like I couldn't even text, and then managing a 2-year-old. And then I started to potty train him like during that time, because we were home, and I gave up. Like literally, you want to say, never give up. I gave up. I was like, he's pooping on the floor. I can't deal with this. I'm so ill. We're just going to lay on the floor and play with dinosaurs. Yeah. But so we did
lay
that.
It out whenever you want.
And then I remember, like I said, a week later when I got out of my quarantine, or, 14 days later, and I was still running on my treadmill very slowly, and I was doing Zwift racing because I'm on this team. That helped me get back quicker. But I did notice my breathing, my heart rate was higher, and that was probably a couple weeks. If Daytona would have been a week later than it was, I probably would have given it a go. I needed just one more week, but I also didn't want to, I had this judgment factor. I didn't want people to be like, oh, she just had COVID, stay away from it. And there is that shame for people who aren't educated about what happens once you get COVID. And people don't even want to, I've had tons of people come to me and be like, oh, don't say anything, but I have COVID. And I'm like, don't be shamed by it. It can happen to anyone. It's like, I don't believe in a lot of luck. We create our own luck unless you get a mechanical or you have like in a car accident, God forbid, or anything. But like with COVID, it's really just like luck of the draw. You can do all the right things. Wear your mask, stay 6 feet, try not to leave your house that much, be in a bubble, and you can still get it. It's a contagious virus. And so I feel like I was meant to get it so I could also learn, educate myself, and then try to help, whether it's my peers in the sport, whether it's my peers of friends around me, I could help, encourage them that it's okay, And in Ohio, the mindset in my little bubble is that it's okay. Like, no one's blaming, you gave me COVID. Like, everyone's supportive and just wants everyone to be okay. So that's my soliloquy about COVID, Bob.
I like it. Well, the main thing is you're back healthy.
That's
and
right.
you get the race tomorrow
That's
with some of your favorite people in the world.
So excited. Yeah.
I love it. Meredith, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Yes, good to be
Meredith
here.
Kessler's been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob, Challenge North America. We're here at Challenge Daytona. We are not. We're at Challenge Miami. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.